We women are never fully safe, generally speaking, not in the way men are. When we're outside, walking alone, even in daylight, we've got like an invisible weight that most men will never understand. Every woman listening right now, she knows what that weight feels like. Because when she's with another woman, that weight disappears. But when she's walking alone, it's different. And every one of us wear this internal jacket. Remember, women only have 10% of the testosterone that a man has, and that's where all his self-protection lives. We don't have a lot of it. So we become more alert. Subconsciously, our stride gets shortened to arrive at our destination quicker, and we're constantly assessing our surroundings. But for a man, it's not like that. Whether he's walking alone or with a buddy, his body doesn't change. His sense of safety doesn't come and go depending on the surroundings. It never feels compromised. That's the benefit of testosterone. It fills his body with certainty and a kind of forward momentum. Men have an innate sense of physical dominance, but estrogen doesn't operate that way. And that's why God gave men the responsibility to provide safety for all of his daughters, but especially in marriage. If a husband wants to be desired, if he wants his wife's femininity to soften towards him, and to open up to him and adapt, and to respond to him sexually, then it's his responsibility to provide the safety that her body physiologically requires so that she can let go. Because for women, safety is safety. Emotional safety, physical safety, and even mental safety. They aren't three separate things, that sit in different compartments or boxes. They're fused into one. That's how we have this awareness that's diffuse. Our bodies experience life holistically. When emotional safety is missing, it's not a small thing. It means our entire nervous system is compromised. So we're forced to stay guarded, ready to protect, just like we're in real physical danger. It's not a choice. But when that safety is present, your body can literally exhale. And by exhale, I'm not talking about just the ability to blow out air. I mean a full, deep belly breath in and a deep, full exhale. That's how your nervous system actually transitions from one state to the next. That's the shift God designed your body to make when you feel safe, loved, and emotionally attached to your husband. Your body naturally moves into the parasympathetic nervous system. That's the calm and connected state God designed intimacy to happen in for a woman. It's in that state that your body prepares for sexual connection with increased blood flow to all the erogenous zones, heightened sensitivity, and natural lubrication. That's God's design for feminine desire. But here's something you may have not heard before. Even when a woman's not in that safe, connected state, when she's in the sympathetic nervous system, fight, flight, freeze, or fawn, her body can still become lubricated. And it's got nothing to do with sexual desire. It's a protective reflex. It's a physiological response that God built into our bodies to reduce the risk of injury to our vaginal tissue if penetration happens. It's a survival mechanism. A woman's body will work to protect her when her heart and mind are not in agreement with the act. Researchers call this arousal non-concordance, when your body responds physically in ways that don't match what you're feeling emotionally or mentally. Studies have documented that our lady bits will lubricate even when we're triggered by fear or threat as a self-preservation reflex. It's just like tears that form when something gets in your eye. Your eye isn't crying from sadness. It's protecting itself from damage. It's a totally different emotion. It's the same thing when your vagina lubricates herself from fear or the stress of performance in the midst of emotional disconnection. It's not evidence of sexual desire. It's evidence of God's protective care for your body. So if you've ever experienced that kind of response in an unsafe or emotional disconnected moment, remember, your body was not betraying you. She was trying to defend you. Our femininity cannot flow from a place of indecision or uncertainty because the female body registers both of those emotions as fear. 1 Peter 3 verse 7 says that the wife is weaker than the husband. That's not an insult. It's a biological truth. Our bodies and brains were wired to have to work at risk assessment constantly. And unless a woman is in the presence of healthy masculinity, masculinity that's steady, protective, and intentionally invested in her, she'll always carry a low-grade tension. Always. Even in marriage. Because our system never fully stops scanning for safety unless we're in that parasympathetic state. Here's a really cool parallel. When God gave Israel the land of Canaan, the victory had already been won. He'd already secured it. He did all the work already. All they had to do was go in according to his plan. Deuteronomy 1 verse 8. They didn't have to make it happen, but they did have to honor the way he designed it to happen. And when they didn't, whenever they rushed or went in on their own strength or their own way, they weren't able to conquer that location. God did the exact same thing with the feminine design of his daughters. He already designed us to be highly adaptable to healthy masculinity. That responsiveness is already woven into our design. It's all of our estrogen. But if a man tries to take that sexual ground through control, pressure, demanding, neglecting, or playing the entitlement card, another word for that is dominance, that means he's out of alignment with God's plan. And he won't get the land he wants. It can't work because that's not the kind of headship we are created to receive. In Hebrew, the phrase in Deuteronomy 1, I have set the land before you, uses the verb nathan. It means to give or to place. And the word panim means it's literally facing you or it's right in front of you. God isn't telling Israel to fight for the land. They already owned it. He placed it before them and said, step into it. And that's exactly the same thing that God's done with desire and sex in marriage. He has placed your femininity, panim, right in front of masculinity. Your design is already created with your husband in mind, but he needs to enter it rightly. The Israelites had to trust God's plan in order to conquer the land. In the same way, a husband's got to trust God's design of femininity. But here's the problem. Traditions and wrong theology haven't just let men off the hook for their masculinity. They've completely shifted all of that responsibility onto the sisters, who God said is the weaker one. And that means the majority of the counsel we hear is working against how God wired us. So essentially, we're being taught to go against him. And that means our temple, the place where God lives, is unprotected. And we end up living in a lot of confusion and resentment and ignoring our emotional fatigue. Eventually, our physical bodies begin to break down.